Blah 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 blah.
Alright, sweet.
Hello everybody and welcome to I'll Tell You What TV, the unofficial Formula 1 podcast where it sounds like someone's cracking one off.
No, I'm eating the yogurt.
Yeah, alright then, you're not cracking one off, you're eating something that someone else has cracked off into.
Steve's licking some out.
Yeah, so we are the unofficial F1 podcast, the filthy version.
Yeah.
So
X-rated.
Yeah, sex-rated.
Well, I would put it as the podcast for F1 fans by F1 fans.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we need to re-tag this as. By the fans, for the fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm really tired today. You know, I was up all night Sunday night. I was in bed by 6 o'clock yesterday. I woke up at 1 o'clock. What are you on about? It was a good boy. I was alone, thank you very much. I was all alone, thank you. Yeah, and I've been up since 8 o'clock this morning, 7 o'clock this morning. I'm knackered. So if I don't sound too enthusiastic this evening, that's why. Yeah,
me and Steve will make up for it.
That was my impression of James when he saw the car for the next league, car for the league.
I'll tell you what, we might as well get that plug in now. For anyone that's interested in gaming, racing gaming, or watching some racing gaming, Steve's racing league, Dynamic GT League, is racing this Thursday. First race of a new championship. Race video should be available on YouTube over the weekend. So check that out, Dynamic GT League. And someone's just farted.
No,
me.
It's just the door.
I thought it was just hold the door.
Hold the door. Hold the door.
It's back gone over.
Hold
James has
door.
said that. I'm guessing you're not seeing that. He's not into Game of Thrones. Anyway, we're going to be talking F1. Right, guys. Bahrain this weekend. What you got to say?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? All right. Well, I'm predicting no rain.
If it rains now, you forfeit all the points you've scored so far in the predictions.
And if I'm right,
you get 1 point.
okay, I'll predict no rain.
Okay. No, actually, no, you're not getting a point for no rain in Bahrain.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, okay. I mean, last week we talked a lot about what had happened at Australia. That's what that podcast was all about. And obviously, there's not been a lot of news in F1 this week, other than the big news being that Mick Schumacher will test for Ferrari at the Bahrain test after the weekend race. And I wanted to mention to you guys, I don't know if you saw it, but there was in the build-up to Australia on Sky, they talked to the head of Sky, not the head of Sky, but the head of Sky F1, and they were talking about whether he thought broadcasting the practice session was a success. And he was saying that yes, it was, and yes, they hope to do more of it and make much more of a feature of it. Do you think a lot of people would watch it if they were broadcasting Bahrain and Mick Schumacher's in the car?
Of course they would.
Of course I would.
Yeah.
They just need all they need. Obviously, the only problem that they've got during testing is whenever there's nobody on track, which could be a while. When you've got nobody on track, then you've got no to talk about.
Well, they have, because there's just been a race weekend.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have got stuff to talk about, but normally when, for example, Anthony Davidson and Crofty are talking about what's going on in practice, they're talking about what's going on track. But as we've said plenty of times, I much prefer them in commentary, just because they'll talk about anything if there's no happening. So they make it entertaining. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's certain people where, unless there's all happening on track, they're a bit boring. And no offence, I do believe, although the two lead commentators for Sky F1 are shit hot when the race is on, when there's nothing on track, I don't know, they just don't seem to have...
Well, that's not Brundle's forte, is it?
No. Well, it's a skill of being able to talk about shit when there's not to talk about.
Yeah, and that
like us.
Yeah.
Like us.
But it's interesting you say it, though, because Will Buxton very good at doing that. Karun Chandok, he's always got something to talk about. Ted Kravitz, he's another one. He'd always have something he could talk about. And Anthony Davidson's the same. But, I mean, that's one of those things. Crofty's got that commentator skill of it doesn't matter what's happening, we have to be talking. So he knows that he'd have to keep the show going. And I think that's fine. But I do think a lot of people would tune in to see Schumacher in the car and see if he crashed it, because then the newspapers would go fucking mental with, oh, he crashed it, he's not good enough, he's not ready, he's not like his dad, blah, blah, blah. But if he does well, it'll be, oh, he's just like his dad.
Yeah, but just imagine, right, if he ends up topping the timesheets in the practice session, everyone will be going, oh, he needs to be in a car now. But what car are they going to put him in?
Well, it put pressure. It put pressure on some drivers who I think shouldn't be there, i.e. Grosjean.
I suppose so. With the connection that Ferrari have got with Alfa Romeo, that would be the most available seat that would be possible.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be Kimi. It'd probably be Giovinazzi. But Ferrari have put a lot of money into him. But if you think about the amount of merchandising they'll be able to do with the Schumacher name and Ferrari, I mean, Ferrari themselves, they'll probably tell you they sell T-shirts and also very expensive cars.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ferrari make most of their money from merchandise, not the sale of the cars.
Yeah.
All the royalties they get from like Matchbox cars that's a Ferrari or everything to do with the Ferrari logo they get money for.
Well, it'll be interesting to see to hear how he gets on anyway. Right, okay, so this weekend's Grand Prix. A lot of the things that I've been hearing or seeing over the social media sites and Sky F1 and stuff like that is Mercedes basically saying, oh, Ferrari, they haven't shown their pace yet, they're going to come back strong. Bit of news about Williams, about how they've obviously underperformed, but they've got a new package coming soon. So I'm going to throw it straight out there. Are Ferrari going to come back with a vengeance and show everyone that Australia was just a bit of a hiccup? Is Bottas just going to go, it's mine from now on? Or is Hamilton going to be back on form?
I think, yes, the Ferrari will improve, but they were 6.5 tenths slower. But will they make up that amount? I don't think they will. I think they'll gain 2 or 3 tenths. So yes, they'll be improved, but I don't think it'll be good enough still. That's my personal opinion. I mean, they've said all along that trying to shave off half a second could cost you in the region of £5 million worth of development. So, yeah, and a long time as well.
I personally think that Australia didn't allow Ferrari to push the aerodynamics of that car, which is where they'll gain the lap time. I might be wrong, but
yeah.
I think Bahrain will allow them that opportunity to really push the car through the high-speed corners, and you could find Ferrari in the position that Mercedes were in.
Maybe.
Well, just to let you know, last year at Australia in qualifying, let's see, Lewis Hamilton was 7 tenths of a second faster in qualifying than Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel, right? So that was at Australia. At Bahrain, obviously Australia last year, Vettel went on to win it. Now at Bahrain, let's see, Sebastian Vettel took pole position with Kimi Raikkonen in second. There was 2 tenths between them. Bottas was third and Hamilton fourth, but that was 2 to 3 tenths. Yeah, 2 and 3 tenths to third and fourth. So Ferrari last year were able to pull back a 7-tenth deficit into a 2-tenth benefit, going from Australia to Bahrain. So I wouldn't be surprised if sort of James is right, the car will suit them more at Bahrain, but also that Ferrari they'll perform a little bit better.
I think one thing that Ferrari need to do, and this is I think another reason why they might just struggle and not reach their potential until partway through the season, is the fact that they've changed their philosophy with the car this year. They've gone to more of the Red Bull with the rake kind of approach, and it's going to take some time to understand that with the setups.
Yes and no, but it's not just this season that they've done that though. They've been going that way for the last 2 seasons. So if you're
this season, it's more extreme though.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, I mentioned, you might not remember, I barely do, I mentioned last season that Mercedes, because of their different rake, it works at some tracks, like they've got hardly any rake, it's a much flatter car, so their car works at some tracks, doesn't at others, Australia being one of those that it worked at, Bahrain being one that it doesn't. And that's one of the reasons why last year I said that Ferrari, there are going to be a few tracks where they'll annihilate Mercedes because of the rake angle. And I mean, obviously it's a process that Red Bull have gone with for a long time now, and to be honest, it seems to work for them. They've just never had the power unit. But I have got a feeling, well, if Ferrari don't perform this weekend, then I would probably already say they've got problems.
Yeah, I probably agree.
I just don't understand how you can go from being so dominant in testing to being mediocre. I mean,
could it be that, like you were saying, James, the circuit Barcelona suits that car?
Yeah, maybe. But I worried for Ferrari as soon as a Honda were able to beat them.
Yeah.
Both of them.
But this way, if the Ferrari is going to work better at the Bahrain circuit, the Red Bull is going to work better.
Yeah. Who's having a piss? Is that Dave?
It's not me. I think that's a beer being poured, to be fair.
Oh,
it is.
Right.
I've got a keg of beer.
Sorry, I thought it were a really frothy piss.
A really fluffy poo. That's a new one, James. You need to see a doctor for that.
Too much diarrhea.
I mean, if you remember last year, I mean, it was at Bahrain that Verstappen was fast but erratic. And he crashed a couple of, I think once in practice or twice in practice, had contact in the race. So the Red Bull was...
Both Red Bulls didn't finish, I think.
Yeah, well, Danny Ricciardo's broke down, didn't it?
Yeah.
It is one that the Red Bull could do very, very well at. I mean, it'd be a surprise if they were able to get on the podium again, but it could be possible. The thing is, I'm looking at last year's... It's quite scary, actually. Test your guys' memory now. Last year's race at Bahrain was won by Sebastian Vettel. How far behind him do you think Valtteri Bottas was, who was in second place?
Oh, I remember this because we were complaining at the time that he should have defended into turn one, and he gave up the position too easily. But how close to the end of the race was that?
I'd have said about 10 laps from end.
I reckon he was probably about 7 seconds away from him.
I'll go more extreme. I'll go about 30.
It was 7/10 of a second. So he was right. He was right.
I knew it was close, but I thought it might be seconds rather than tenths.
Lewis Hamilton was in third place. How far behind do you think he was?
He was about 28 seconds behind.
No, he wasn't.
Was he not?
No. Do you want to hazard a guess, James?
20.
Nope, 6.5. Okay. Pierre Gasly, who was...
Oh, yeah, he did really well in the Toro Rosso, didn't he?
Yeah. How far behind do you think he was?
About 40 seconds.
I'd say about a lap. So about 1 minute behind.
It's 62 seconds behind.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah. But that's the top three within 7 seconds. And then it's... Oh, fire alarm.
Oh, Vicky, what is she playing at?
She's on fire.
She's gone and got a shower and not shut the door. Bear with me 2 seconds, guys. Oh, hang on. It's gone off now. I've stood up. Yeah. Watch, it'll go off again
it's
now.
It's because Vicky's out there naked wafting a towel at it.
Bloody hell.
I'll tell you what, James, your missus must be smoking out for that alarm to go off.
You can't complain, James. What was it you did last week, spilling a bowl of cereal on your curtains?
Oh my god. I tripped with a bowl of Curiously Cinnamon, right? And it went all over my curtain. And I was just like, all I wanted to do was just put it down. You know what I mean? It's like the laziness in me caused a situation where I had to do a shitload of cleaning. And I was just like, oh my god. So yeah, took all the curtains down, threw it straight in washing machine. Day after having to put them up, but knock on wood, there's been no questions as to what the frig are you doing with them curtains.
That's because Vicky was thinking I should have had him put down.
What she's thinking is, when are you going to wash the other curtain?
Ah, yeah.
No, I did them both. I did them both. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so back to this. So yeah, the gap was massive, and there was only 6 cars that finished on the lead lap. But with Toro Rosso finishing 4th, that suggests to me that Red Bull, if Verstappen and Gasly are on their game, they've got a good chance of being on the podium.
Yeah.
And I've just got a funny feeling about Gasly that he's just... Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. Nah, I'm going to have to go upstairs. Bear with me a minute.
This is where he gets upstairs and goes, fucking hell, there's a fire!
He could have pressed mute.
Now, for anyone that may be listening to this live, if you have any F1 questions or anything like that you want to ask, feel free.
I've got something to ask you when James is back. Is James back?
No, he's not back yet. He's got to put fire out. Ow.
Farmer and Sam. In fact, I'll ask it you, then I'll ask it James.
Go on then.
All right.
Got to keep
Prince
me awake,
Albert of Monaco.
Yeah.
He was in the Olympic Games for 5 times, right? 5 times in the Olympic Games. But in what sport though? What discipline did he compete in? Now I'll give you a choice of 3.
Dressage.
Poker.
Oh, you've heard the question as well, have you?
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. The 3 are skiing, fencing, bobsleigh.
Fencing.
Skiing.
Nope, it was bobsleigh.
Fuck off.
That was on Tipping Point today. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what that program is, but yeah.
Basically, Tipping Point. It's like you go to seaside.
2p pushers.
Got them 2p pushers.
Oh yeah.
It's just that on steroids. It's bullshit. It's like we could make our own version. Just send me to some gypsy fair and film me with a GoPro. We'd probably get a load of viewers if we did that. Might
do. It depends on whether we can get you beat up by get you to go and see a fortune teller. I predict there is darkness in your future.
Thanks.
Walks out, shits yourself.
Oh, it's night time. There's the darkness.
Yeah.
I predict there'll be white stuff spilling everywhere. I'm like, oh, good, and it's just me throwing more shit on me bloody milk on my curtains.
It's a good job you added milk there, because otherwise people might just think you throw shit on curtains. Like a monkey throws shit at people. Anyway, right, we're going to have to make our predictions for this weekend's race. We're going to do our usual 4. Pole sitter.
I've got one though as well.
Okay, pole sitter, winner, podium. You say you've got an and first to crash out. You say you've got an additional one. What's that then, Steve?
How many cars finished on the lead lap?
Oh.
We've not done that one before. You mentioned it a moment ago about the last season.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, what I remember, one of the bonus predictions we did for Australia was how many overtakes there would be in the race. I think Steve went for 30-something, James went for 87, I think I went for 16. A couple of days after our podcast, it was put out on Sky that it was 14. Apparently, Ross Brawn had said that... because obviously they were saying, well, last year there was only 3, this year there was 14, that's progress. And I'm thinking, yeah, it might be, but it depends on what you are classing as an overtake.
Yeah.
Because if it's a change of position from an overcut or an undercut in the pit stops, yes, it's a change of position, but it's not an overtake as such.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a little bit like, let's put it this way. If I was following Steve up the motorway and Steve pulled into the services, but I kept going, I wouldn't say I've overtaken him. So, yeah. But yeah,
I
so
would.
yeah.
Right, are you giving yourself a point for being closest?
No, no.
Did we say it had to be exact? So
No.
It wasn't a closest thing?
No, that was just a bonus. No points to be given on that one, really, but I weren't going to tell you that. So we are going to need an additional thing to do a prediction on. So if anybody has any suggestions, you're more than welcome to put them up in the chat. And we will start going through these ones, I reckon. So, Steve, do I write Hamilton in your box for pole position?
Yes, Hamilton.
Okay, James. Who are you going to go for?
Sebastian Vettel.
Ooh. I thought you were going to go Max.
I was tempted, but I don't think that Honda's powerful enough to do it in quali.
You know what? I wrote down Max as soon as you said, like, oh, I was like, right, I'm going to go for Max. But actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to change it. I'm not going to go for Verstappen. I'm going to go for Leclerc.
Ooh,
because
interesting,
I do think the Ferrari is going to be better than the Mercedes at Bahrain, and I think the Merc will be the practice sessions at Australia, and I think we'll see it again this weekend. the Mercedes was pretty decent in every practice session. Ferrari in FP2 were doing their own thing, ignoring lap times, blah blah blah. But when it came to Mercedes turning the engine up, they were able to. But I don't think they're going to have that same benefit in Bahrain because of the different times that the qualifying session is on compared to the practice sessions. So it's kind of like, unless you're going to do it at the exact sort of time of the qualifying sessions, is when you're going to put your hot laps in, you got to take it with a bit of a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But I do think the Ferraris will be strong, and I've got a feeling that this could be where Leclerc shows everybody. Well, let's put it this way: if Leclerc wants to be able to change the Ferrari minds of, yeah, you can't overtake Vettel, the only way to change their minds is to qualify ahead of him and be ahead of him, and make it so that they have to say to Vettel, well, hold your position. They won't do that, annoyingly, but if he can qualify ahead of him, that's the first step. Yeah.
I mean, how many races were Hamilton in before he could challenge Alonso? Well, I think didn't he win Canada? I think Canada were his first win, and then after that, he were allowed to pretty much do what he wanted. Remember, it were the Indianapolis Grand Prix where Alonso were foaming because Hamilton wasn't getting out of his way, even though there was nobody else to fight other than Hamilton for the win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at Monaco, he blocked him in the pit lane, didn't
he? Yeah. No, it were not Bath.
Wasn't Bathurst.
Hungary, that were it.
Okay. Right. It's just reminded me actually of us. I'm wondering if it was in the pre-show for Australia. It was a little bit of it might have been on YouTube actually, a little bit of history of teammates in F1, and it was to do with the tyre manufacturers. It wasn't the Indianapolis race, there was a different race. Who were the drivers? I think there was a couple of Ferrari drivers and it was a couple of Renaults, when the Renaults were yellow and white with big fat turbos on. I think Prost was in one of those Renaults, and basically it turned out that there was pretty much only going to be 4 cars racing. So the drivers, those 4 drivers, got together before the race and basically said, right, look, let's just stay together on the track, have some fun, give people some action, and then when we get to 5 laps to go, whatever the order is, we stick to it. So they all agreed, and for like majority of the laps, that's exactly what they did. They kind of stayed together, battling each other, a few overtakes, all quite exciting. I think one of the cars broke down, and then, no, sorry, 2 of the cars broke down, so it was only the 2 Ferraris left, I think it was. And when it got to 5 laps left, this is it. It was Villeneuve. It was Gilles Villeneuve, right? Because this was the race before he died. Now, Gilles Villeneuve was leading with 5 laps to go, so he, from the pre-race agreement, in his mind, it's his race, right? It's his win.
Yeah.
So what happens on the last lap? His teammate overtakes him and fucking rushes off to take the victory, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't go down very well with Villeneuve, right?
Yeah.
So at the next race, he's pushing he's mad, and he's pushing way too hard, crashes the car and dies.
Right.
Anyway, right. So who's going to win?
Who did you go for pole position, Dave?
Leclerc.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was only 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, I was busy looking at something.
New nickname for you, Goldfish. Hey, what?
Yeah, Hamilton for the win.
Any reason why?
Statistically speaking, he's got the best chance.
Oh, fair. I think Hamilton will beat Bottas. He'll be determined to beat Bottas.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to be good enough to beat the Ferraris on the day.
After the comment of Bottas on the cool-down lap, who do you think that was aim towards? Do you think it might
which
be
comment?
somebody in the team that don't particularly think he's good enough to be there?
What comment was it?
I think it was more of a dig at the media.
I think it might have been for somebody inside the team.
I'll say for the third time. What comment was it?
What do you say now, Steve? Something like, for who it may concern, fuck you.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, just for the media, I don't think that you'd say that.
Maybe it was for Ocon.
Ooh.
Like, because if there'd been any hint of you've got to perform, well, I mean, to be fair, the media have been saying that if he doesn't perform, Ocon's there, he's ready, he's in the garage, he's got to perform. And I suppose Steve could be right that Bottas could have been saying it in that respect towards the media, to whom it may concern. Fuck you. But it could also be to Ocon, because if you think about it, just at the end of the race, when it cut to Ocon and Toto Wolff, Ocon was laughing a little bit on when he had his headset on.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was just wondering if there's a bit more to it than what we think.
You want there to be more to it.
Oh yeah, because it makes better drama. Have both of you watched the show on Netflix?
I have.
No, I haven't. But I did see a short interview with Nico Rosberg and who was the other driver? And they were talking about, it was Jenson Button. They were talking about pressures in F1 as a young driver. And Jenson said, I think Nico had asked Jenson, so who was the most difficult team boss? He goes, Flavio. He says, when he was angry, you knew about it. And Nico goes, yeah, I know. He says, I did a race where I thought I'd done okay. I wasn't happy with my result, but I thought I'd done okay. I got back into the garage after the race, and Flavio comes up to me and goes, you're shit. You just cost us loads of points. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, did I tell you we've got a courier at work? I always call Flavio. He drives for DHL.
Right.
I always think, here comes Flavio.
Oh no, it's the other guy that just turns up and goes, when's he coming tomorrow? And you're like, ooh. It's
what
not
time's he come?
Yeah, it's not him.
What time's he come? Oh well. Anyway.
So tell me about Flavio then, James.
Flavio. He works for DHL. I always say, bloody hell, Flavio's gone down in world. I thought he was living in Monaco last I heard. But yeah, celebrity spotting at work.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay then, James. Actually, you know what? Right? You mentioned about celebrity spotting. I've worked out why I fancy the girl who works in the local co-op near me.
What? Why?
It's because she looks like the red woman off Game of Thrones.
Oh, right, okay.
The red woman?
Yeah.
Well, when she takes the necklace off?
No, not that bit. That's the downside to that. I'd remembered that prior to getting to that was depressing.
That was a wank stopper. That was
definitely.
I don't know what you're on about.
I know you don't. You're gonna have to watch Game of Thrones. No, what we'll do, we'll have to find that specific little clip, and then you can watch it, right? And we'll say nothing else about it. We'll have to find that clip. Okay, James, who do you think is gonna win?
I'll be risking. I'll say, Max Verstappen.
I'm going to go with Vettel, because even though I think Ferrari are going to be strongest, Leclerc's going to be on pole, I think Ferrari will fuck him over to get Vettel on the podium. Just to let you know as well, Steve F1 says he thinks Bottas's comment may have been a dig at the team, and also saying that Bottas was also very insistent on getting fastest lap and ignoring the team instructions, so could be beef with Mercedes. It could be. I mean, it could be that Toto Wolff has said to Bottas, I don't think you're good enough, and unless you win the championship, you're out of the car at the end of the season.
But
yeah, one of the way. Sorry, go on.
You wouldn't say to your boss, "Fuck you," would you?
I don't know. You kind of did the other.
Well,
the other way.
It might do. It might do if the scenario that I'm just about to mention is true, which is, what if they've said to him already, "We will not be renewing your contract, but you need to drive the car to earn a seat in another team. Otherwise, you're going to be out of the sport." So he may already know that he's not got to drive for next year, and that's why he's probably said to who it may concern, "Fuck off," because he's driving for himself now. He's driving for the possibility of earning a seat in another team.
You'd think, you never know. He could have had a bust up with his missus, and him saying, "Look, I've got to spend a bit more time preparing and focusing. I've got to concentrate." And she might be like, "No, you need to spend more time with me. Look at my boobies." And so maybe it was a message to her may concern, "Fuck off. I told you I was right." I mean, it's probably completely wrong, but you never know. You never do know what is going on. We'll have to wait until he writes a book after he's finished racing. David Harper's also said that he thinks that Max Verstappen will win. Okay, the podium 3 then, Steve.
Okay, in order of first to first. Right.
First to first. Good luck.
From first of all.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, so Hamilton. Max Verstappen. Leclerc.
Okay, James, on to your 3.
They were the 3 I said last time.
Might have been. Just to let you know, James, you did pick Max to win.
Right, okay, Max to win. Leclerc. No, actually, I'm going to change it. Leclerc to win. Max second, and Bottas third.
Ooh, okay.
So just want to confirm, is that James changing who he thought will win the race well?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not going to have Max as your selected winner as well?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave it as it is, and then I've got like double a quits then.
Okay, I'm going for a full 6 points on the podium here. Vettel first, Leclerc second, Hamilton third. That's going to be spot on. That'll be 6.
Maybe.
That'll be 6 points for me.
Maybe.
You hope.
David Harp's going for Max, Hamilton, and Vettel. Well, I mean, let's face it. If Verstappen wins, I think there'll be a lot of people that'll be happy, but not Mercedes. Okay, first to crash out.
I'm going to say no one's going to crash out. 0.
Turn 1. Ooh. Fucking Perez.
Okay, fucking Perez. Okay, I'm going to go for, let's think. Well, it ain't going to be either of the Williams, because they can't get close enough to anyone.
You never know.
I'm going to go with, oh, you know what, might be a bit cruel this, but I'm going to go Hulkenberg.
No way.
Yeah.
I think, he beat Danny Rick, didn't he? Mind you, Danny Rick fucked himself up.
Yeah, Danny Rick beat himself.
Turn 1.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, you might be right with that Grosjean might crash into him, put him out, Grosjean carries on.
Right, I just want to let you know, David Harper's had a prediction for first to crash out. Would you like to know who it is, or do you want to have a guess?
Grosjean.
It's neither of them.
Magnussen.
No.
Ericsson.
No.
It's not racing, is it?
I'm thinking if it's Dave the Harp, it's got to be a joke.
It's not Bottas.
Is it a current driver?
No.
Yeah, I knew it would be. Mansell.
Bunsell.
Bunsell.
Sorry, Bunsell. That wasn't my comment. That was Dave the Harp's. That's where Dave. So that might be Dave the Harp's pre-warning us that'll be the one where he shouts "Cunt." Okay.
Yeah, you've been warned.
Yes. Okay. How many cars are finish on the lead lap?
I'm going to say 8.
Okay.
Lead lap. I will say you got Hondas. You got. I'll say that the Hasses and the Renaults are both going to finish on the lead lap. So that'd make Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Haas, and Renault. I'd say 10 cars. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll say 9, and then there might be one who fucks up.
So you're going with 9?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. 2 Ferraris, 2 Mercs, although the Mercs have struggled there over the last couple of years, so one of them might drop out. There's only going to be 1 Red Bull, so I'm going to say that that's going to be 4 in total there. 1 Alfa Romeo, 5. I'm going to go 6. So not many.
Not many at all.
I mean, well, let's have a look. How many finished on the lead lap in Australia?
Thing is, if there ends up being a safety car towards the end, it could be none.
It could be, yeah.
Well, everyone finished on lead lap.
Okay, in Australia, it was 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Right then, we need one other thing to make a prediction on.
Right. I had something to suggest and then forgot. Oh no, I'll just mention something actually. Just give the other people a chance to write in the comments what we should do a prediction on. I'll just mention this. It's about the fastest lap, Paul. And I was watching somebody's podcast the other day, listening to someone else's, and if somebody outside the top 10 gets the fastest lap, then nobody gets a point.
Yeah.
The point's just not awarded. So if you were one of the top teams and you have an incident, it might make sense, even if you finish last, to try and put the fastest lap in to prevent the team that you're racing against from scoring the point.
I think all these things that we're thinking of, where you're like, oh, how can you fuck somebody over? How can we get more? I think the teams are too worried to fucking do all. And they're just it's gonna get till the end of the season and then them go, oh, fucking hell, we missed out on the championship by 2 points. If we'd have only done what Steve's just mentioned, we could have won the championship. I bet you tenner it's going to come down to a few points and then they're going to kick themselves, whoever it is.
Well, just think though, right? If you've got somebody that's normally in the top 6, but they've had a proper shit race, they've been off the track a couple of times, they're running in 15th or whatever, they're not going to get in the points. Even if there's a safety car, it's going to be difficult for them. Now, sometimes we've seen cars just pull into the pits and park up and save the engine. But I think they're more likely to pull in the pits, put fresh tyres on and go for fastest lap to prevent other people from getting it.
I don't know, because there's 2 ways. Well, there's that way to look at it, and then there's, well, if we do save the engine, because a little bit like with Renault and Danny Ricciardo, well, if we do save the engine, we can get more than that 1 point they would gain on us at the next race. So if we beat them at the next race, we've got more points than them anyway. So
yeah, I agree with you.
That's where I do think that that's why it should be points for every finishing position, because then it stops teams from going, oh well, let's just park the car, because that for me is wrong. But did you know? I wanted to ask you, did you know that it is actually mathematically impossible for the championship to be won with a gap smaller than 5 points?
Really?
No, I made it up.
I was thinking that, since Hamilton won by 1 point and Kimi won by 1 point.
Well, the points were different then. I think slightly, but no, I made it up. I thought I'd see how awake you are. Yeah. Come on then. Right, we need something else to make a prediction on. Come on.
Well, the fastest lap, who gets fastest lap, is an easy one. We did it last week. But if we don't do that one, then we'll have to think about something else.
Well, that's what I'm mentioning it.
I'm just thinking if we can't come up with another one, we could always do fastest lap. But let's think of some others.
What lap will Grosjean start crying?
Well, it's hard to tell because you see, he might start crying a lot earlier than we hear him crying.
Yeah, I've got one. Who will interview the drivers after the race?
I've got to say, it's funny you mention that. I do kind of get a bit pissed off with Sky when the only person who can interview them is the person that's doing the commentary. It's like, why haven't you got somebody that's as good as Brundle? Why has Brundle got to do everything? I'm not having a dig at Brundle specifically. I'm having a go at Formula 1 that they haven't got somebody who's got a brain good enough to actually interview people. And Will Buxton, get him on there.
Yeah, Will Buxton is very good with a microphone. I mean, Paul di Resta's done it a few times, but unfortunately, that's not what he's good at.
No, unfortunately, Paul di Resta, when he does like the after qualifying, he'll go, "Oh, here comes Lewis Hamilton now. I'm just going to give him an interview." So Lewis, and he's awkward in a way because you can clearly see that Lewis Hamilton's literally just taking his helmet off and trying to get himself in right frame of mind to even think about answering questions. He's probably just on a bit of a buzz after doing qualifying. And then it's like a microphone shoved in his face. It's like, whoa, have a bit of tact and build it up. Allow him to have a bit of time getting rid. I understand that there's time limits from like FOM and whatever, but God's sake, give him 10 seconds just to get himself in order. So then you get the best interview rather than half an interview where he's like, "Oh, hang on, let me just put my helmet down. I just wanted to thank the team," because then it just goes into generic. Yeah. Oh well, what am I programmed to say? Rather than the raw emotion of. There doesn't seem to be much banter between them. I do feel like when I've got to say when Jenson Button has done a few bits of interviews with people, it just seems a bit more relaxed than what's his face, di Resta.
I was wondering, whether Button is going to pick a British driver to start doing nipple tweaks to, without warning him, going, this is a tradition that's got to be carried on. Tweak. I mean, when you look at it, with the British drivers on the grid, who could it be? Well, it ain't going to be Lewis Hamilton. He doesn't give interviews on the grid.
He might as well give it to George Russell because that's what he needs, some fucking luck with that car.
George Russell,
have a bit more aerodynamics. Eek!
Well, no, what you need to do in qualifying, if you want to be further up the grid, is turn it up a bit. Tweak! But yeah, I reckon he should do it. Maybe we'll have to tweet that into Crofty and see if we can get him to do that at some point. David Harp has made a suggestion for prediction, but actually I'm going to turn this into a little bit of a question for you now. He's basically said we could try and predict who's the last to pit. Now, the way I'm going to turn this into a question is, normally in Formula 1, you go for the undercut. You pit before your opponent and you pass them while they're going round on shit tyres. But with the new tyre blanket temperatures and the tyres being colder when they come out of the pits, the cars are not fast for a couple of laps once they've pitted. So are we going to see teams, instead of going for the undercut, trying to go for the overcut, and everybody staying out a lot longer than they want to?
I doubt it. I really do doubt it.
There'll become a point where the tyres that they're on would be slower than the new tyres. Excuse me.
Bloody hell. Whew.
That's fucking some dodgy beer you're drinking, Steve. No, but what I mean is, like, okay, right, in Australia, Vettel pitted early, backfired. Hamilton pitted early to cover Vettel, backfired, right? Verstappen went very long. Bottas went long and was fast all the way through his stints. All the way through. There wasn't really a drop-off on his tyres. So I wouldn't be surprised if at Bahrain you end up in a situation where neither of the Mercs want to pit because it fucked them, but neither of the Ferraris want to pit because it fucked them as well. Right? So they're gonna go long, but Red Bull are the type of team that will go, right, well, they're going to go long. Well, if they're going to go long, that's fine. We'll go early and really make it work. And that's how they could end up jumping to potentially get the win. And then for the third race, you've then got two teams sat there going, well, fuck, we thought the overcut was going to be better, but now the undercut's better. What the fuck do we do in the next race?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think with two sets of teammates, you wanna right now you wanna be working stuff out. So putting people within the same team on two separate strategies. I mean, Ferrari kind of screwed himself over by pitting Vettel so early and then pitting Leclerc so late. I thought there were a potential gift for Ferrari when Bottas pitted in Australia, came out of the pits behind Leclerc, and then couldn't even get past him. Leclerc was the fastest once he were out in clean air, but at the start of the race he wasn't exactly setting the world alight. But then that long stint allowed him to then push. But once again, one thing that I wanted to touch on as well is what the frig has happened with the tyres, because I'm sure they said to us we're aiming for 3 stops. Well, clearly not.
Well, they did say that going into Australia, they did think that Australia would be a one-stop race. I wouldn't be surprised. I thought, well, I know for last year they said they wanted it to pretty much be 2 stops everywhere, 3 stops at some, but there were a couple where it was 1 stop. It could have just been, I don't know, it could have been the particular compound of tyres that they've taken, but for me, well, I'd rather see more stops with tyres that are fast but degrade than tyres that last comfortably half a race, because the problem with when you got a tyre that can comfortably do half the race, it basically means that everyone's pace is set for that whole hot stint that they're on. Yeah. So there's not going to be a whole lot of change, but that's where...
Or flexibility in the strategy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there was many people that started on the harder compound tyre that really benefited from it. So, yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see in Bahrain whether it's going to be 1 stop, 2 stop. I can't imagine it's going to be 1 stops because it is a little bit of a tyre killer, given the medium to high speed nature of a few of the corners around there. But I believe as well that they're having 3 DRS zones again. So you've got the main straight, the second straight, and then the middle straight.
They only had the 2 last year, so we were saying that maybe they'll have 3, but they never did. So that the third one, which is actually the second DRS part on the circuit, is the new one, which is out of turn 3.
Thing is, I'd rather see it on the penultimate straight.
Yeah, I would.
Because if you're overtaking into turn one, the last thing you'd want is either the car ahead of you to have DRS and just pull away, or the car behind you that you've just overtaken to get DRS and come back past you. Whereas you can use the middle DRS to get close, and then you could use the last DRS to either pass or get really close. It would mix it up more, and you could have 3 different detection zones. So you could have somebody overtaking on the middle straight, somebody repassing towards the final corner, and then another overtaking to the first corner. So I think that would work much better, but I don't know, maybe they just don't like the idea of having a DRS down the second straight, not the second straight, the penultimate straight.
Maybe it's to do with the runoff space. There's a fair bit there, but if you're going to increase the speed by so much more, if there is an incident and someone just continues to go straight on, maybe there's a problem there.
Yeah, might be. Okay, well, just to let you know, the prediction that we're going to go for the one that Dave suggested, although I am going to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to change it to last to pit between the Red Bull drivers, the Ferrari drivers, and the Mercedes drivers.
So out of the top 3 teams, who will be the first to pit?
Last to pit. Can you tell he doesn't listen?
I meant last.
I can understand what he means. I do a bit of mind reading.
And?
There was nothing there. Nothing to read.
Yeah, it's empty.
Hang on. No, it's not there.
Yeah.
Right, it's empty. Okay, I'm going to go with last to pit. Leclerc.
Okay. Stole my answer, you bastard. James?
Last to pit. Who's that was a Red Bull driver?
Gasly.
I'll tell you what. Last to pit. The torpedo. Kvyat.
And I thought I wasn't listening.
I've been sat here for the last 20-30 seconds thinking, I wonder if he's going to say a name of a driver that isn't in the one of the top 3 teams. He's not going to do that, surely, is he?
Did you say top 3?
Yeah.
I thought you said anybody within the top 10.
No.
Oh.
No. Last to pit out of the Red Bull drivers, the Ferrari drivers, or the Mercedes drivers.
Well, Red Bull is Toro Rosso. That's a loophole.
Well, no, it's not.
Okay, what's the other Red Bull driver apart from Verstappen? What's his name now? Gasly. I'll go with him.
Okay. Now, I was going to go Leclerc, because touching on what... I'm going to go with Leclerc, actually, because this is how I think Ferrari are going to fuck Leclerc over to let Vettel win. They're going to keep Leclerc out too long, and Vettel will get an undercut on him. Just like they did with Raikkonen, God knows how many times last season.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
That's the predictions locked in then. Done. Right, do you have any other F1 news or anything else that you want to talk about heading into the Bahrain weekend?
I've been listening to a podcast earlier and they're on about the potential Chase Carey going round to engine manufacturers saying, do you want to join Formula 1 in 2021? Now, the main issue I've got there is, unfortunately, they've still not relinquished control from the current teams. Now, the current teams, because they've invested so much money in these particular engines, don't want to give up their
income,
their research, and all the money they've spent.
Yeah.
But what they don't realise is that that's then preventing new teams from wanting to come in. And new teams that are wanting to come in with a very, very simple, basic engine that's cheap to create don't want to come in. I mean, you could end up with an Aston Martin on the grid as an Aston Martin works team, but because the current crop of teams, i.e. Renault, Honda, Mercedes and Ferrari, they've got a stranglehold over the regulations and none of them want to let it go now. If I had a tash like Chase Carey, I'd be like, look, you can think you've got a stranglehold over anything, but I tell you what, if you don't like it, you can fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, you look at how pissed off what's his face at Haas was with Force India getting the money. And he was like, hang on a minute, we've had to fucking not earn any like big money for a year, for 2 years. So how come they come along? And okay, he's got a point, but at the same time, a very different scenario, very different situation. Haas were a brand new team coming in. Force India was still Force India, just with new owners. It's a very different situation. But I can fully understand the frustration of it. And when you look at how often, was it Bob Fernley at Force India, when he was at Force India, like how many times he was talking about how frustrated he was getting at not earning the money that they felt they really should be, and although they had a voice, it wasn't enough of a voice to get what they felt they deserved. And yeah, I can see manufacturers thinking it's not worth the cost. It really isn't worth the cost, because what's the reward? The only reason they're going to spend money is if it's going to make them money. And is it going to make them money? And I think the answer's probably no.
Well, why would you spend that amount of money when you can go to Formula E? Yeah, you're not going to get as much exposure, but it's well cheap compared to Formula 1.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, they may be better off actually saying, okay, look, we want people to be involved in Formula 1, but actually we want people to be involved in Formula 2. It's a lot cheaper than Formula 1, and you know what? You could come into Formula 2 and you can build your race team and you can build your legacy, and then if you want to make that step up into F1, you've got a basis to go from. So you can test the waters on a much cheaper cost, because let's face it, Formula 2 is massively cheaper than Formula 1.
Yeah. I mean, the Formula 2 car has 4 mechanics.
Yeah.
So basically, when they go to a race, they've got the driver and 4 mechanics. And that's it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to send you to a picture, because I know I'm not going to show it on the stream, but I know James is into his motorbike. I don't know if you still do, know he was into your motorbike racing, but I saw this picture and thought of you, James.
Oh, yeah. It's not Valentino Rossi kicking people off bikes.
No, it's not. It's not. But there is there is a new thing that I'm going to mention as well, though. But I wanted you to see this picture first.
You can see where my driving style comes from when I watch people like Valentino Rossi kicking people off bikes.
Yeah. Well,
it's the entertainment value. It's hilarious.
Well, there was a race in Chile this weekend where 2 riders were next to each other. They started bumping into each other. One of them basically fell off his motorbike and was end up pretty much sat or hanging off the back of the other guy's motorbike. The other guy sort of turns around, sees the bloke, slams his brakes on, comes to a stop. The other guy gets up, and while the rider's kind of like, what are you doing? The guy had been dragging along, basically gets up and fucking punches him. He falls off his motorbike. The one that did the punching then walks across a live racetrack while the other guy chases him and starts pushing. It's stupidly ridiculous, but also very funny to watch. But,
that's it. I think the thing that I like with the motorbike riders is I would not dream of ever riding a motorbike, because I'd just kill myself. Yeah. But number one, there must be a bit mental to do it in the first place. But then to top it off, I think because they are literally just not as PC as Formula 1 is, they're allowed to be a bit more themselves. Whereas there's too much fucking... I'm not kidding. Right, we're on about Williams last week saying, you know, they're all too PC and all this lot. I'm sorry, Williams need to go and hang out with one of the MotoGP teams and just go, right, this is how we do things, and we win races. They'll be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's such a different mentality as well. I mean, I've mentioned it about... obviously I used to play football when I was younger, and I see, like, players or managers do an interview after a game, and I'm like... You know, if it was me and I was a captain doing an interview or a manager doing an interview and we'd played shit, I would literally stand there and go, we played shit. There's no excuse for that. We were shit. And don't worry, when we're in the training ground tomorrow, we're going to analyse the fuck out of what just happened. Because it ain't acceptable. Not, oh, well, there's some positives. You got beat 4-0. Yeah, but there's some what positives? You got beat fucking 4-0. Oh, well, the lads kept trying. Yeah, but you got fucking beat 4-0. You can try all you like. You can
sugarcoat shit all you want, but the fans know the real score.
I would have gone with you can sugarcoat shit all you like, but it'll still taste the same. Like shit. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, it's like, okay, up in Newcastle, when it comes to football, the fans obviously want the team to win, but if they're not going to win, they want the players to at least fucking try their hardest. If they've tried their hardest, they'll applaud them off the pitch. But if the players don't try, they won't support them. And that's how it should be. So it's a little bit like, should a team celebrate a win? Yeah, fucking course they should. Should a team be pissed off if they don't win? Yes. So for me, having a team like Williams go, oh yeah, well it's not where we want to be, but there's not a lot we can do at the moment. It's like, no, turn around and say, well, I'd just turn around and say, look, let's face it, we're shit at the minute. And I'm sorry if nobody, like, we are shit at the moment. There's no point you continually asking me the same questions, because we can't do fuck all with the car at the moment because we're shit. So until we've got new staff in that can actually do what needs to be done, oh, and by the way, Claire Williams, you're fired. I mean, sometimes brutal honesty is the best way to go.
Yeah, it's the best way to go. Yeah. Well, exactly. Unfortunately, I think because, no offence, and if there's a job going, give it my way, but
please, Williams.
Then shut your ears after this, because it's father's name it's her name on the door. Nobody's willing to put the neck out and go, I don't think that this is working.
Yeah.
Because they'll be too afraid of losing the job. There's too many yes men, and you get too many yes men and not enough balls. You end up with what you've got at Williams. Not meaning that you need to be a man to win at all. I'm meaning ballsy, as in
stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, taking risks.
If she'd have been the head of the Ferrari team, she wouldn't have lasted 6 months.
No, and it's not because she's a woman either. But we mentioned that the other week. But it's a little bit like, I'm going to touch on football again, but Jose Mourinho, right, when he was manager at Manchester United, there was one particular player, Luke Shaw, left back, who he did criticise a lot. But I saw in an interview done with Mourinho, it wasn't actually an interview for him, it was about Alex Ferguson, right, after he'd retired. But one of the things that Mourinho had said, he was sort of asked a few questions, one of the things that he'd said was, he says, I often push players beyond the limit, and the reason I do that isn't because I don't like them, isn't because I want to see them fail, it's because I want to see what they're gonna do when they're pushed beyond the limit. How are they going to respond? Are they going to respond positively? So basically it'd be like, because I mean I had it, but even in the racing sense, okay, let's say you're team manager of Williams, right? Do you turn around to Robert Kubica and say, look, I know this is a fantastic story, but if you're not good enough, I'm taking you out of the car.
Yeah.
How does he cope with that bit of information? Does he crumble, or does he go, right, fuck you? I'm going to fucking show you that I'm the person that should be in your fucking car.
And that's what Bottas has done. You pushed it. Somebody's clearly given him a good old push, and he's delivered.
Yeah.
And that's what you sometimes need. And like Mourinho says, it isn't because you just want to fuck people off for the sake of it. A bit like Gordon Ramsay. People just see him and go, oh, he's just trying to fuck people off at TV cameras. No, he's trying to wake people up and say, don't be so arrogant.
Yeah.
You can do better than this.
Yeah.
And if you don't listen to me, you're not going to do better than this. Now, fuck off.
I mean, it's like, I was actually watching a couple of clips from Ramsey today, and he's talking to this one hotel owner, and they're on about the food, and they're stood in the restaurant, and he says to the owner, he says, your burgers, are they frozen? He goes, no, they're not frozen. He's like,
they're fresh.
He's like, are you sure they're not frozen? He's like, no, they're not frozen. It's like, right, okay. Walks over to a customer's table where there's these two women sat. And he goes, excuse me, ladies, but just want to get your opinion. If you was to order a burger from here, would you expect it to be fresh or frozen? And they're like, fresh, obviously. So he turns around to the owner again and says, your burgers, are they fresh or are they frozen? He goes, they're fresh. Well, we get them in frozen, but then we thaw them so they're fresh. And Ramsey's like, right, so you just told me that you don't have frozen burgers, but you do have frozen burgers. No, we don't have frozen burgers. We thaw them out and then they're fresh. And it's like, it took a good 5 minutes of going,
fuck me.
You have frozen burgers.
If this is the one I'm thinking of, right, he even says to him, why do you not have fresh burgers? He says there's nowhere to buy fresh burgers from.
Yeah. He says you can't get fresh burgers around here.
You can't get fresh burgers no.
Make them.
Well, hang on a minute. You make them. You buy the ingredients to make them. Yeah. I've made them myself at home here.
I've made them.
It's easy to make.
Yeah. I mean, if you're running a hotel or a restaurant and you've got a kitchen, you should be able to make a fucking burger. Or like, I mean, there was one. Do you ever see the one? I know this isn't F1, but it's Gordon Ramsay, so it's funny. Did you see the one where there was a woman that ran an Italian restaurant that was in an old drive-through building?
I think so, yeah. Yes, that's right, because he pulled up to the window.
Yeah.
It's
quite a funny one to watch. Also a bit dark and depressing as well. But he gets in there and obviously he orders some food and he orders the meatballs. He tries the meatballs and it's fucking diabolical. So he asks the waitress, he's like, are these meatballs fresh or frozen? She goes, I don't know, I'll find out. Goes away, comes back, yeah, they're frozen. It's like, all right, did they make them here or did they buy them in frozen? I don't know, I'll find out. Goes away, comes back, yeah, they buy them in frozen. It's like, hang on a minute, so I'm in an Italian restaurant where you buy in frozen meatballs. Like, they're the most simple Italian meat dish you could make, and you buy them in frozen. He goes into the kitchen and basically it's like some 17-year-old kid, and he's like, do you know how to make meatballs? No. It's like, what the fuck? But
yeah.
Some people really do need waking up, or even there's a brilliant hotel Hell one, where he walks in and it's basically like a cabin in the woods, and he walks in and the owner's there and he's like, I can smell something a little bit fruity. What's that smell then? And the owner sat there, big smile on his face. Well, marijuana's legal up here. It was basically a fucking hippie hotel.
And they party dead late into the night, don't they?
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning, got cum-stained sheets and everything. But he got his flash, he got his black lighter, didn't he?
One of the owner's son is a stripper. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You know it's pure quality though, then, don't you?
No comment. I do enjoy watching Gordon Ramsay.
I'll tell you what though, right? That log cabin, they built it and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does look amazing.
You know what I would love? Imagine a fly on the wall documentary with Gordon Ramsay going into Williams.
Oh,
that I would pay fucking money for.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would pay £5 a month to watch documentary series.
You just see him, like, there'd be a camera, like, on Claire Williams sat at the back of the garage, and in the background you just see Gordon Ramsay come round the corner with a loaf of bread, like creeping up to her, grabbing 2 slices, putting them next to her head and go, "You're not Princess Leia, you're a fucking idiot sandwich."
Yeah. I think it needs to be done. We need to set that out as a hashtag on Twitter. Not that we've got a Twitter account, but I think we need to make one. So yeah, it's going to be hashtag Ramsay Williams.
Yeah.
Idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich.
Yeah.
Classed. Yeah. But yeah, I would pay money to see that. That'd be hilarious.
I've had an idea, but that's something I could create, but I'd end up getting it. I'd get kicked off YouTube for it. But
I know that obviously being a chef's completely different, and like his expertise are not building a motor car, but he's fairly. I've seen him at a fair few races, Ramsay.
Yes.
I've seen him at a few Silverstones, so he's clearly not. He's not a complete novice.
The thing is, as well, he is a businessman as well. I mean,
he's got business sense.
Yeah, he's got business sense, and he knows about if your product isn't good, your product doesn't sell. And if your product in Formula One isn't good, your product doesn't succeed. And okay, if you went in and ran Williams, would it improve? I don't know, but the mentality would be different. I mean, if someone was wearing the wrong clothes on the pit wall, they wouldn't be getting a fucking text message in the middle of a practice session while they're doing an important job. He'd walk over to him and go, "What the fuck are you doing? Go and get changed." I mean, I saw on these clips I saw today, he walks out of this one hotel early in the morning, the owner's pulled up, right? He gets out of his Jeep and he's wearing t-shirt and shorts, and Gordon Ramsay's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "What did I tell you to do when you got here today?" He says, "Turn up like a boss." So, okay, yeah, so how many bosses do you know wear t-shirts and Bermuda shorts to fucking work? It's like, go home, get changed and come back. So he goes and gets back in his Jeep, backs up, and then Gordon Ramsay's like, "Fucking hell, he's got no doors on his Jeep, he's not wearing a seatbelt, this guy's a fucking moron." Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, but yeah, no. I want you to watch that documentary and let me know what you think. I think it's brilliant. That is for me
what's it called again? Because I keep forgetting.
Drive to Survive.
Okay,
it's on Watch series.
Yeah, I will have a look. I've just been binge watching Game of Thrones to get myself back up to speed with that recently. I mean, something else. I mean, okay, we've been joking about Gordon Ramsay a bit there, but when you think about it, there is a Gordon Ramsay in the pit lane, and that's Gunther Steiner. Now, if he wasn't actually half decent at his job, he wouldn't be in that job. But surely his bosses know what he's like, and they want their team manager to be like that. To be someone.
You wait till you see the documentary.
Oh, you'll love it. You will love it.
Dear me.
He just speaks his mind, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
I bet Williams probably needs somebody like him to really just kick people's asses and just tell it how it is and not sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Frank Williams. When he was properly in charge there, I can bet you pretty much every member of staff not only respected him, but feared him.
What, running over the foot?
Well, yeah, quite possibly. But no, you know what I mean, though. It's a little bit like...
Okay, same with Ron Dennis.
Same with Ron Dennis. Same with Briatore.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to have that fear factor to actually get everybody to pull together. I mean, you can't be so fearful that, nobody wants to work for you, but you've got to have a bit of both.
Yeah.
A nice balance.
That is true. Sounds like someone's PlayStation could do with a clean out on their fan. Whose PlayStation's on?
Yeah, no, I'm doing my helmet livery. I'm trying to make it look decent.
Well, I'll tell you what, James. I can send you the link on how to clean out your PlayStation. It's surprisingly very easy to do. And also, it's a good idea to do it, right? Because I mean, I've just heard I can hear your fan. I mean, mine sounds similar. But how long have you had your PS4?
Since day of release, 2014.
And how many times has it been cleaned out? None.
Never.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You can have a carpet in there.
Yeah, you are going to need mud, pure mud. Now that won't mean nothing to you until you've seen this video. But honest to God, it's not that difficult. The only pain in the arse is that you do need a specific type of
Screwdriver.
bit. No, well, not screwdriver, but screw bit. They're called tamper-proof Torx bits. Basically the screws are tamper-proof screws, so if you haven't got the tamper-proof bit, it's an absolute fucking nightmare to undo them. It's so much easier just to go to Halford, spend £6 on a bit set that's got the right size one that you need. But I'll send you the link to the video, and then you can watch it, and it will tell you as well what size bit screw you need. And
don't use a Hoover.
No, don't use a vacuum cleaner. Go somewhere like Asda or Sainsbury's and buy a can of not air spray, but it is air spray, air in a can, compressed air in a can. Costs about £4, right? You might want 2 of them, just so that you've got an extra one, and then see how cold your hand gets. But yeah, once you've seen the video, you'll be like, oh fuck yeah, okay, I might need to do mine, because that's what me and Steve did. And you saw what mine and Steve's were like.
Yeah.
So yours will be just as bad.
Cheers.
No worries, it'll blow up for Thursday.
Yeah, that's it. It's just all a ploy so that I'm indisposed.
To be honest though, I wouldn't do it before Thursday. I'd do it after Thursday. And I mean, it doesn't take, once you've done it once. I mean, I did mine a few days ago, and it probably took me 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I was taking my time with it. If you've never, that's the first time I did it though, it probably took me a couple of hours, because of struggling to get bits off of it. But
yeah, no, I'll definitely have a look at that. And also, just thinking before we go to plug Steve's Racing League, Season 3 is about to start, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, we said this at the start of the video.
Yeah, but you never know. I might have got some new listeners who don't want to hear from the beginning.
Well, I was going to mention something actually, something that I don't think Steve or Ray has actually mentioned to anyone, but I am aware of, right?
Ooh, all right, okay, what's this?
Well, James has just said that you're starting Season 3, but it's not actually Season 3, is it, Steve?
No, it's the Red Bull Championship.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
We're not counting seasons.
Right, okay. Right.
So, yeah, we're going on championship names.
Right, so in your racing league, there's no such thing as numbers.
Well, yeah, because I'm number 1.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Just wait until Thursday. We'll see.
I'll tell you what, right? I have been the bridesmaid for 3 of the seasons, even though we're not counting seasons.
We've only done 2.
We've done 2. Yeah. Oh, I'm expecting to be the bridesmaid again.
Yeah, you will be, mate. Yeah, because I'll be beating you. You might even be the what's below bridesmaid now? Maid of honour. You'll be maid of honour.
That's up from bridesmaid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
that's like the head. That's like the head bridesmaid.
You'll be mother-in-law.
It's not. It's page boy, flower girl.
It's flower girl.
Flower girl.
Ring bearer.
You're the ring bearer. Yeah, you'll be. Ring bearer.
Don't tell Ray that I'm the ring bearer.
Yeah, he'll smash the back doors in.
Steve F1 says, guys, just a reminder. Update on Thursday.
Is there?
I think so, yeah. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, okay, all right. In Steve and Ray's Racing League, which is called Dynamic GT League, that I'll tell you what TV is a non-monetarised sponsor of, because we don't make any fucking money.
I wish.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to fucking say now. Yeah, it is probably, other than the F1 cars on the game, which aren't that nice to drive, it is very close to F1 style cars that we're using in this next championship. So for anyone that wants to see F1 style cars having a good fucking crash, bash, action,
Have a good fucking.
yeah, then check out the video. It will surely be entertaining in one way or another. But it could be very interesting because there is a lot of unknowns with this car. I know a lot of people have been getting a lot of practice in. I know some people have not been able to practice as much as they would like. There's some people that would normally be quick in qualifying that may not have the pace in qualifying but could be much faster in a race situation. So there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out.
There's not only that. There's when we was on the other night when you weren't on, we did quite a few 20-minute races, and the difference in strategies is very difficult to tell which way to go. Whether you go long on your tyres, because the pit time, the lost time in the pits is quite large. It's difficult because, I mean, put it this way, Steve F1 managed to do 20 minutes on super softs.
Bloody hell, that's good.
All right, but
did you put tyre wear on after that?
No, that's right. Tyre wear was on. Right, I pitted about 10 minutes in. No, I pitted on about 6 minutes and put softs on to do basically 14-minute stint at the end on softs. I was catching him at a second a lap, and I would have caught him, but I spun it. All right, but Dave, the Harp, and James pitted twice on super softs, and they caught Steve F1. I know Dave overtook him. I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I think I overtook him as well. I think Steve came third, but it were only on the last lap that we were able to do it. But I mean, for most of the people who are here for F1, sorry, we're talking about Racing League now. But yeah, the main thing for me were it allowed different opportunities. So if you chewed through your tyres, but you knew you had to push every single lap non-stop, rag the tyres, just get as much performance out of it as you can do that and end up at the same place as the person who goes, you know what, I won't pit and I'll just look after the tyres. I might go a bit slower, but I'm going to get to that same position. So it allowed for different driving styles, and at the end of 20 minutes, everybody ended up back where they started, so it was quite entertaining. You
could end up with a driver like Bunsell that's not done much practice. He's got a good driving line, doesn't push the car too hard, got good tyre wear, and he might end up causing the top group of the cars a bit of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent a bit of time helping a few of the drivers, and I've got to say, Bunsell's racing line, was absolutely perfect from straight out the garage. I didn't.
Have you seen his racing line when he's competing for a position though?
No. I mean, to be fair though, it's been interesting opening people's eyes to what the car's capable of. That's for sure. But there was something else. Yeah, when we were on, I know there's a few of us on a few days ago, and we did like 3 or 4 races around the Red Bull Ring. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a different winner every time. Every race there was a different winner, and I was like, okay, this could be interesting. This
is what it was like the other night. I won one, Steve F1 won one, Dave the Art won one. Yeah.
Did James not win one?
It might have done. James might have won one.
No, I didn't win it, but I
you could have done, but you pitted again.
Yeah. There were just certain situations that just happened, but I've got to say, the one race where if I had a certain situation happen, I could have potentially won. I had the pace, but it's just getting it right on the night.
The thing that worries me though is if you are going to do multiple pit stops, is the pack.
Yeah.
Because the time that you will lose going through the pack will be massive. And I think when Steve F1 managed to do that amount of laps on the super softs and not pit, he had a nice clear track ahead of him, could keep going. Everyone that pitted was in battles and was struggling to catch him up. And I think that was one of the reasons why he was able to keep going, was because no one was putting pressure on him. Whereas everyone else was in the battles, getting through the pack.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's going to be fascinating. I think I definitely am looking forward to it. When it was first announced, the car, I wasn't feeling great, but the more and more and more I bombed around in that car, I've got to a point where already, before the first race has even started, I pretty much know what the car's going to do when I'm pushing it to its limit. Whereas in previous championships, I haven't gone out of my way so much to know the car as in depth as I do now.
Here's a question for you then, because I was wondering this this morning actually. It's felt like it's been ages since the last race of the last championship and will be the first race of this championship, and I was wondering, I wonder if it's too long a gap. But in hindsight, it's actually given the drivers more than enough time, plenty of time, to get in the car and drive it and find out what
to
it can
adjust
do.
to the car. But I'll tell you what though, as an admin, it's been nice. An admin, I had too much beer. As an admin, it's been nice after the race, after Thursdays, the last couple of weeks, not to have to do the footage, not to have to sort the points out, have a nice weekend without any worries about any incidents that need looking into. And it's been, a bit of a chill out for a couple of weeks, and then we'll be back on it again for 9 weeks straight for the next championship. So I think the 2 weeks is nice. You get a few fun races in there as well. So I think it's good.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's mainly I'm looking forward to it because I feel like the car has the potential for me to show what I can do. Whereas
you feel like you could actually get a win this season.
I've got a funny feeling I'm going to be on it this season. I've just got a feeling. I might be completely wrong. I might be just being big-headed. I've just got this funny feeling that it might just go my way. But I've got you two to keep me in check.
And Dave the Art, and Steve.
And Steve F1, and Iceman will be good. Yeah. And then there's Rodders.
Ray, Twilight.
Yeah. But if I'm going to beat anybody, if I need to win championship, it needs to be against you two, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's going to be against everyone.
But what I'm saying is...
You could beat us two, but we could be 16th, 15th and 14th.
Yeah, but previous history would suggest differently.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, to be fair, thinking about it as well, I won the first 3 races of the last championship, maybe the first 4, I think it was 3, and didn't win another race after that.
Yeah.
And because I was probably punting you off at every race, because I won't concentrate.
No, there was only one, I think. No, I think I did win. I won 4 of the first 5, I think. But anyway, so I need to get on it again. But to be fair, I mean, I did a bit more of my Nordschleife Drift challenge today, right? It's quite interesting, this, right? Because I have been finding it very, very difficult. It has been tough, but I know I've said to the both of you that doing it has allowed me to get myself into situations in races, but be able to cope with it. So, for example, the car being very sideways and it not being a problem. Now, Steve, do you remember some time ago, me, you and Ray tried drifting around the last corner of Tsukuba?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and Ray struggled. I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. I think I did it once.
I cheated.
But it wasn't on
I
camera.
used the pad.
I was thinking that because I went round there today and it actually occurred to me. It's like, well, Steve did drift this. I bet he used the fucking pad.
I did.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we said, we'll do some drifting, I was like, okay, we'll do it on the pad.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, James, but when you're using a wheel, if you've got your pad on as well, you can actually take over at any time on the pad, and then if you want to go back to the wheel, just have to press a button like a pedal on the pedals, or turn the wheel, and the wheel will take over.
My mind would be too fucked to do that.
Yeah. So anyway, so after I was on the Nordschleife for a while this morning, and what I did a few days ago was I did something that I've suggested to people before. So for example, if you practice in the Red Bull Ring for this week's racing, you're practicing, you're trying to improve, and it's not quite going right. Sometimes the best thing to do is go, right, fuck it, I'll go and drive this car somewhere else, or I'll go and drive another car somewhere else. You might learn something. Well, that's what I did the other day. I went drifting around Suzuka for a couple of fun laps, and it was interesting, it was enjoyable. Well, today, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to go to Tsukuba instead. And that's when I remembered, we did try drifting around here, and it didn't go very well. I was close to drifting the final corner, and that was it. Today, never having taken this particular car around that track in a drift situation, I was pretty much drifting the whole track, no problem. So instead of going from nearly drifting one corner, I'm now able to drift every corner around that track without having practiced it. So that's kind of the effect it's had on a drift sense. So it means that when it comes to a racing sense, I can get myself into a difficult situation and recover
and it
from
doesn't fluster you as much.
Yeah, apart from when you're nearby.
You start to doing it without realising it's all muscle memory.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's it. I think the confidence that I'm now feeling with the car is through doing so much practice that whenever there is a snap of oversteer or too much understeer or something doesn't quite go right, more often than not, I'm able to correct it without thinking too much.
Yeah.
But that's mainly the crux of it so far, and I think that's what's been enjoyable. Whereas, unfortunately, previous cars, when I've struggled, I've just struggled and I've not been able to get my head around it. Whereas, as well, I think the car setup allows for different driving styles, not just one particular way of driving.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know some people may have played about with the setup, but one thing I do like with this particular car is that you can leave the setup pretty much, and it's a great car to drive. And in a way, I think that's what Formula One should be like. But in some respects, I wish Formula One was just so much simpler. So it was more just about the driver, because that's the thing. When it comes to like racing leagues and stuff like that, especially this particular one, all the cars are the same. Okay, yes, you can have different setups on them, but the cars are the same. They've got the same power, the same weight. If you've taken the weight off instead of putting it on, so it is all down to the driver, and that's one of the things that I do like about it. But anyway,
definitely. Right,
I think it's about time we bring this one to an end, because I really need a shit and I'm knackered. I need sleep. It's the second live stream I've done today where it's ended on time to finish because I need a poo.
Well, I need to
could be worse.
Could be worse. Could have done it here.
You could have shit yourself already.
Before we go, I'm just finishing my helmet livery. Is there a particular sponsor you think I should have on my helmet?
Jorex.
I was going to say that.
Alright, okay, there we go.
Did you? I actually.
And then underneath, you need to write "always coming first."
What time will I come?
Yeah.
No, Jorex for when you come first. Did you see?
To come first you must finish.
James, did you see the picture that I shared in the Dynamic GT League chat that was for you earlier today?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I shared a picture. It was the Thrustmaster handbrake.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to know how much it is?
120 quid.
260 quid.
Oh, fuck that. I'll stick to me circle button.
Yeah.
Circle button does trick.
Right.
I've got to admit, it's weird this. Since I've worked out, I've got cruise control on me VW Polo. While I've been driving, I've just been so lazy, just sticking cruise control, and like because it's on the steering wheel, it's like having a button on PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
just
speed up,
like
slow
that.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes some. Oh, they're not going the speed limit. They're going a bit slower. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going. Drop the revs to down 25 mile an hour if they're in the 30, and then just select.
Hang on, you're using cruise control in a 30 zone.
I use it everywhere now. It's like pit lane speed limit everywhere. I'm like,
Well, I suppose you wouldn't get done for speeding. You could just imagine that.
Exactly.
Officer says, "Excuse me, sir, could you tell me why you've crashed into this parked car?" Oh, well, I was trying to slow down with the cruise control, but it didn't slow down quick enough.
I was using my pit
the
limiter.
button. Yeah, the button broke.
But yeah, I mean, it is really made for motorways, but yeah, you can use it on normal roads.
Well, if it's wasn't made for motorways, or well, this is one of the things I always say is I don't care what it does or care about what it can do. Taken from line from Apollo 13, but yeah, I just kind of think, well, if it allows you to do it, do it. You know, there's nobody going to stop me apart from a
just thinking of that Queen song. Don't stop me now.
Me now.
I'm on the
speed
control.
limiter. I'm having a ball.
I know with some.
I'm scratching my ball.
I know with some cruise controls, like if you're on the motorway and stuff like that, you can have cruise control on, and if you want to speed up quickly, you can actually use your accelerator, and then when you let go, it will go back to the speed you were doing. But it all depends on your cruise control system, because sometimes once you've pressed the accelerator, it cancels your cruise control, but obviously pressing the brake cancels it automatically anyway. But usually, well, it depends on the car. You can use the accelerator to like give you a quick burst of speed and then slow down.
With mine cancels itself if I put the indicators on.
Mine cancels itself as soon as I touch the brake.
Yeah.
Or I can just disable it on the steering wheel.
Dave the Harp has just put, people scream at their auto wipers to wipe rather than press it. What?
Is it like Alexa, where you go, Alexa, turn my window wipers on because I'm a lazy fuck and I don't.
I understand where it's coming from here, because I've got auto wipers.
Right.
And I'll be driving down the road and it'll wipe.
Sorry for calling you a lazy fuck, Steve.
That's alright. I'm driving down the road and it'll wipe, and then it starts to rain and there's more rain on the window, and I'm sat there thinking, come on, wipe. It's on automatic. Wipe. Come on. I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, wipe. No. I'll give up after a bit, and I do end up having to put it onto manual.
Oh.
It's like,
flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Right.
It's problems we have to put up with, you know. I was listening to Jordan Peterson with him banging on about, like, you know, is your life better than your grandparents? And I was thinking to myself, I moan about certain things to do in my life, like, oh, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. And I was just thinking, fucking hell, my grandparents wouldn't have even had a car until they were about 40.
Hang on a minute, think about it. Think about this then. When we were at school, the only toilet paper that was available was tracing paper toilet paper. There was nothing else.
Fuck.
There was nothing else. And I mean, I know I was talking to our mum the other day, and I said, I don't know how, like, of all the things that could have been used, how did somebody decide this would be the perfect thing to use? Let's use a piece of tracing paper that makes you either cut your arsehole or just spread shit everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. Well, it ain't gonna grip out, is it?
No, and it actually made me think, I was like, it's such a small thing, but could you imagine, like, let's say, for example...
imagine if to put it in schools now, all kids would have a breakdown.
Well, I was going to say, could you imagine if, like, say, for example, Steve's at home, his kids have gone off to school, while they're at school, he takes all the loo roll, hides it, and replaces it with the tracing paper toilet paper. To see what their reaction would be. You know, it would be worth doing just to see what their reaction would be. And then when you say, well, that's what we had to use as kids, they would not believe you, I don't think.
No. They'd go, bullshit.
Yeah. They go, no, just shit everywhere. But
that's bullshit. I don't know if that's what your kids sound like, Steve.
No.
Not anymore.
No.
They're a bit older now.
Yeah.
God, that's bullshit.
You know, I created the picture with like racing terminology, and one of them was "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing" means "fuck off," right?
Yeah.
Well, Anna was getting ready to do some driving the other week, and Steve was saying something to her, and I turned around to Anna and said, "Anna, you can say that last thing on the picture to him if you want." And she had a big smile on her face because I can't say that to him. I was like, "No, you can. That's why you say, 'Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing.'" And she still wouldn't say it.
No, she actually turned around. No, she did. She said, "Fuck off." She didn't say.
Did she?
She didn't say, "Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing." She said, "Fuck off."
I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Huh? Teaching them proper, me.
Why?
Right, on that note, I think we'll call it a night. So have a good week, everybody. Hope everyone enjoys the Formula One this weekend, and good luck to everybody in Stephen Ray's Racing League this week on Thursday. I'm sorry, but you're all going to come second and lower.
I doubt it.
Maybe.
We'll see.
What? Why are you going to DNF?
Yeah. I probably will, actually. I'll fall asleep knowing me. Right, have a good one, folks, and we'll see you all again soon.
Bye.
Blah 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 blah.